Okay, you guys, so now we're going to be looking at various relations, okay, and determining whether or not the relation that they give us is a function, okay? All right, so now how do I know something's a function, okay? So it is all about the x values, okay? It is a function. Yes, it is a function if the x values do not repeat, okay? No, the x values repeat, okay? So we're going to start with a representation here that is called a mapping, okay? So this is called a mapping. So when you have these two open circles like this, you have what's called a mapping, okay? And then we've got an A and a B, okay? And then we've got 2, 7, -1, 9, 5, and 8. Okay. Then we've got these funky little arrows here. All right. So we got 2 going to 8. We got 7 going to 9. We got 7 going to 5. And we got -1 going to 5. Okay. So how do I answer these questions below? Okay. So it says the mapping diagram above blank or blank represents a function, does not represent a function. So how do I know which one to choose here? Okay. All right. So there's two ways I can do it. Okay. The first way is I could list these out. Okay. So I could list them out in terms of an order pair or in a table. Okay. So let's just put in a table really quickly. So what would it look like if I put A and B in a table? Well, 2 is going to 8. All right. 2 is going to 8. 7 is mapped to 9. 7 is also mapped to 5. And then -1 is going to 5. All right. Now I just said that yes, it's a function if the x values do not repeat. No, it is not a function if the x values repeat. Okay. So which ones are my x's and which ones are my y's? Well, the first one in the mapping diagram, that's always going to be your x. Next one's always going to be your y. It's always going to be your domain first. This is going to be your range second. Okay, so that means A, these are my x values. Okay, so if I just cover up my y values, because they do not matter. Okay, if I cover up my y values, if you look right down that list, I have 2, 7, 7, -1. My x values repeat. So no, does not represent a function. Since, okay, now we got to figure out how to fill out these two blanks. And it's not hard, you just got to pay attention. Since there is one number, okay, in set A, which is the input. So let's make a note of this over here. Domain is also your input. Range is your output. Honestly, those selections right there are just meant to confuse you. Okay, set A is input. Just make sure you pick the right one. Okay, because they want you to put, notice he put it first. Set A is the output. Just trying to confuse you. Set A is the input. Where there, okay, are multiple mappings. Okay, that's your way of saying there is more than one X value. Okay, to set B, you just got to pick the right one, which is the output. Okay. All right. The mapping diagram above does not represent a function since there is one number, because that's all there is. It's one number right here in set A, which is the input, where there are multiple mappings to set B. Okay. So one of the things I do is you look over here. When you've got this little here, when you've got this number branching off into two places, okay, I automatically knew the answer was no, not a function. I didn't have to do this, okay? That right there is the mistake, okay? Not a function, okay? Submit my answer. Yes, got my green check. Okay, now I'm going to be honest, when you're going through this, you might mess them up a couple of times. They take a while to get used to. All right, let's do a new problem. Okay, all right, so now, just like I just said here, okay, if I look right here, see how 8 has 2 branches going off of it. That's it, you're done. The mapping diagram does not represent a function. Okay, now it's just a matter of getting these next 2 correct. Okay, since there is one number in set A, the input, okay, A is your input, where there are multiple mappings to set B, which is the output, okay? All right, because the arrow goes to set B, which is the output. Submit my answer. Yes. Okay. All right, let's try another one. I'm trying to get to ones. There we go. Okay. All right. So now, if you see why I was skipping through, this is why. You're like, okay, which one is a function? Okay. All right. So now look here. See how I've got nice single lines. Okay. That means my x values don't repeat. Okay. Because 4 goes to 1, -4 goes to -2, -1 goes to 3. So all of these numbers only have one arrow coming off of them. All right, so the mapping diagram above represents a function. Since for each number, so look how it changed, for each number in set A, the input, there is only one mapping to set B, you got to pick the right one, the output. Okay, you just got to read it carefully. Okay, submit my answer. Yes, got my green check. Okay. All right, I'm going to pick one here because I want to make sure. Okay. All right. Hide my types. Okay, sorry for the pause there. All right, so let's look at this one, and I think you have enough examples that will get you through the assignment. Okay. All right, fill in the blanks below in order to justify whether or not the mapping shows represents a function. Okay. All right, so now look, 5 only has one arrow, 3 has one arrow, 0 has one arrow, 4 has one arrow. Okay. Notice, okay, I'm avoiding set B. Okay, when I make this determination, I don't care what's going on. I don't care that -4 if I were to go in reverse. Okay, that's not what this is. I don't have to worry about set B. Okay, when I want to know if it's a function. Okay, I'm only looking at set A. My focus is all on set A. So the mapping diagram above represents a function. Since there is one number, okay, in set A, oh no, for each number, sorry, got ahead of myself. For each number in set A, the input, okay, and if you wanted to right now and say, okay, I know this has to be set B, the output, okay, you could skip ahead and just say, okay, this is what it has to be. There, okay, is only one mapping, okay, to set B, the output. Yes, yes. Okay. All right. So just go through these. If you get one wrong, you get a couple wrong, just keep going. Okay. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do for the very first time, but you get practice. Okay. Making sure in this description that it is a function. All right. Good luck.